Okay, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Today is Wednesday. It's the Mompreneur Day. I'd like to just say a warm welcome back to those ones that have been joining us and watching us. For those that are joining for the first time, you are welcome. This is mainly just conversational, and this is tips that I've learned over the years, and also being a legacy child, coming from a long line of entrepreneurs. So today we are continuing with our series of Passion is Not Enough. And indeed, passion is not enough. We are defining our brand. What is your brand? What do people know? What do people say in rooms that you are not in? Do you get opportunities? I've had so many referrals, especially for the business support services, to say, oh, okay, there's this young lady who's doing this and she's good at what she does and her turnaround time is quick. Give her a call, she'll assist you. And I was taken aback and I was like, oh, wow, this is a brand. It means that I'm getting to be known for who I am and what I provide to businesses. And this is system engineering and business support, logos, and business plans. So this is what DigiBusiness does. And we actually also go into your companies and assist the best strategy that you can use to grow your business. So this is such an amazing platform, and I've grown over the last few months that I've been conducting the Wednesday morning series, and I'd just like to say thank you. And also, our YouTube channel has grown to over 600 subscribers, and this is no small feat. And I'd just like to say thank you so much. Please continue subscribing. The goal is to reach 1,000 by December, and this goal is achievable by you referring your friends to watch us on our YouTube channel and to refer your clients or yourself to us to assist grow your businesses. I was actually seeing on someone's WhatsApp, and they said, no, we need to start a Chilimba for business opportunities. And I laughed and I said, yeah, it's true, because, we are sitting on, a lot of us are employed, or a lot of you are employed. For me, I'm in DigiBusiness full time. A lot of you are employed and doing businesses on the side. So I can come in and assist with your admin issues and come through and assist with creating systems and creating strategies that work for your business, even as you concentrate on your P1. And in the mindset change program, we actually call it your first 8 hours, right? Whilst you focus on your plan A, I can be assisting you to make your plan B become viable, and hopefully it can then become your plan A. So what do we do? Today we're talking about passion is not enough, defining your brand. What is a brand? What is a brand? When you define your brand, you look at different elements. You say, okay, a strong brand is a well-targeted, clear, and consistent, meaningful, and actionable message, right? So think about the best brands. Look at Woolworths, look at Hungry Lion, look at KFC. What does the brand communicate? And this is why consistency is very important. When you go to Hungry Lion, you know that you're going to get Hungry Lion and that's it, right? You know that the flavor and the taste is going to be consistent. You're not going to go to Hungry Lion and then it tastes like Nando's. You're not. So I love how these companies have chosen and are very specific with what they want. They know who their customers are, they know what their deliverables are, and they know what they're passionate about, right? So you need to define your brand. What elements make up your brand? Here are 10 key elements that contribute to and reinforce brand personality. I'll repeat. What elements make up your brand? Here are 10 elements that combine and contribute towards reinforcing your brand personality. So number one is your name. What is your company name? So I chose DigiBusiness because I provide digital services for businesses. So becoming more structured, becoming strategic, becoming systematic, and being able to also conduct your business online, right? So this is something that DigiBusiness does. So digital business is what it is. So the slogan, your partner in business. So we are your partner in business. We carry your brand. Once you engage us, we carry your brand and we work with your brand. So we are your partner in business. The logo, if you look at the logo, we have a magnifying glass because it's saying, okay, are you compliant? If someone scrutinizes your business with a magnifying glass, is it compliant? Have you increased your nominal shares from 15,000 to 20,000? Are you able to say, okay, my ZRA is in order? And you know, right now there's a voluntary disclosure. There's a voluntary disclosure. Just what? I'm in a meeting. There's a voluntary disclosure process that's going on with ZRA. So the logo, the style, what style does your business have? Your character, what character does your business communicate? The packaging, what packaging do you have? Is your packaging a luxurious feel or is it a mass market feel? What is the packaging of your business? Advertising, what sort of advertising channels do you use? So do you use social media? Do you use radio? Do you use television? Or do you use all of them? What advertising platforms do you use? And then your promotions. Do you conduct activations? Like for DigiBusiness, we conduct activations at different places, be it Mulungushi, be it at offices, because offices is where we identified our clients are. People that are working also run businesses. So those people that are working and run businesses, they don't usually have the time to make sure that they're compliant. So that is where DigiBusiness comes in to assist businesses become more strategically compliant and have systems so that even as they're concentrating on their plan A, their business is not falling behind. And then promotional materials. What promotional materials do you use? You have to be very specific with what you use. Do you have pull-up banners? Do you have flyers? Or is everything that you're doing online? So this is something that you think about and say, okay, this is the promotional materials that we're going to use. And then publicity. Do you have someone who is anchoring you? Do you have a mentor? Do you have like a PR company that is assisting you? What sort of publicity are you looking at? And you know, there's something that Trump said. He said, all publicity is publicity. Whether it's negative or positive, it's publicity. People are getting to know who you are. So publicity is very important. As well as having a business personality at its core, the second strand of your brand is a clear and consistent message. What is your message? With DigiBusiness, I've been consistent with saying that what we do is we provide companies with compliance assistance, business support. So this is what we provide. And this has been so great because I've been able to pay off some of my debts. I've been able to pay off and take care of my kids. I've been able to stand as much as it's slowly. I've been able to been able to walk by myself, right? So this is something that you need to understand. What is your goal? Is your goal financial freedom? What is your goal? Write it down. This is going to keep you motivated. This is going to keep the passion driving, even when it fizzles out, even when, let's say, you go a month without a client. The first quarter is usually a dry spell. Not a lot of people are working on compliance issues. Not a lot of people are working on their businesses. A lot of people are just coming out of January, paying school fees, paying this, coming out of Christmas. So there isn't a lot of disposable income for them to get into paying for services. So this is something that you also need to understand. What is the cycle of your business, right? We shall look into more detail about brands. And then, so let's get into deciding on a name. How did you come up with your name, right? Is it something that you've just continued from what you were already doing? Or is it because Pakra said your name is not around, so now you're scrambling to find a name that at least then suits what you're looking for? How did you decide on your name? Playing the name game, right? This is something that I do when we're having little cluster meetings. We decide on a name game. We say, choose your name, your business name. You list down 3 names, right? You list down 3 names, and then we'll go and check on Pakra if those 3 names are available. So you make sure that this is something that you've actually researched, and this is something that speaks to what you do, right? So a good name is short, memorable, with less than 9 letters and 3 letters syllables. A good name will also make you feel something, like Hungry Lion. When you think of Hungry Lion, right? You think, oh no, this is something when I'm feeling hungry, I'll go there. When you think of Woolworths, right? It says, oh no, this feels luxurious. When you think of KFC, you think, oh okay, Kentucky Fried Chicken. So these are things that you need to be able to come up with in your mind. If you say, when you think of Body Shop, right? Immediately you think, okay, it's got something to do with the body. And you know, they've got amazing lotions that you can use. So this is something that you need to think about when you're creating your name. So invite your friends, right? Get a board, stick on, okay, what qualities do I have? What am I good at? So someone will say, okay, they'll write down Sampa, right? And then they'll stick, okay, no, I know Sampa is very good at systems. So they'll put their systems. And then it usually works like when you're in groups of 10. So they write down their systems. She's good at identifying opportunities. She's good at this. She's good at that. So now you're introspective from an outward view, because most of the time people will call you asking, oh, okay, can you do this for me? And then you'll be so fixated on on growing your business on something which you'll have to learn. Meanwhile, there's something that you're already good at. So this is your brand. I'll give you an example also of a friend of mine. She does balloons and she's exceptional at it. So you just stick there, you say, okay, you are good at this, you're good at this. And then don't be afraid to connect your friends to opportunities. There's a lot of gatekeeping that happens, especially in Zambia. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, and it's not right. When you see an opportunity, give your friend that opportunity. Oh, okay, there's this client who called, they're looking for this. Give them the number, they call them. There's a lot of gatekeeping that happens, and it's not correct. It's not. So it works on both sides. You should also be able to provide, if there's a contact, you provide them with that number. Oh, okay. If you must, you can even have a conference call and introduce them so that they can later pick up that conversation and then move forward. Helping someone with a contact doesn't mean now you're going to operate in their business. No, you're helping them achieve a customer. Customer acquisition costs are very, very high. So it needs the situation where if someone has a client that is looking for a service that you have, give them the number. Oh, okay, you can say that you got this from me. That is fine. But there's a lot of gatekeeping, and I think it needs to stop. So you can also register it as, you need to register a domain name, even if it means you're not ready to do your website now. But eventually, when you want to register your website, they'll come and tell you, oh, okay, no, this name is already taken. And then now you have to start reapplying, re-registering. This is, you can also apply for a trademark of your name so that you protect your name until such a point when you're ready to operate. You register your name with PACRA. So this is what they'll be able to help you with. You also need to start hitting the target. Identify who your customer is. Like for me, I've identified, okay, I even know to say, okay, my client is between the age of 35 to about 55. This is most of where the clients for DigiBusiness sit, around 35 to 55. Why is this? It's because these ones, even as they are working in their businesses, they have disposable income that can be used to be channeled into paying for services. Seek the uniqueness in your message. What is your USP? What is your unique sales proposition? You need to have a unique sales proposition. Is it turnaround time? Is it the feeling of luxury that a client gets? Is it that you are cheaper, right? So these are things that you need to identify. Find at least one USP and do everything possible to make sure that that USP is recognized and understood by your customers. Okay, so now we get into, I think I think it was a few weeks ago, we had done write your strapline, right? This is in other avenues, it's an elevator pitch, right? You write down, DG Business provides compliance and business support services to SMEs that need assistance with being compliant. So this is something that you need to also write down. What is your strapline? What is your elevator pitch, right? So what benefits will your business offer to your customers? You need to brainstorm. Customers have choices and many distractions. And we learned that, choices is not that someone is doing exactly what you do, but if a customer feels, okay, this will still meet my need, even though it's not exactly 100% like this company, you need to say, okay, this company can provide this service. They meet maybe 50%. And for customers, sometimes that 50% is sufficient. So a lot of research needs to go into understanding what your customers want and what the alternative is. So this is something that you need to look at. So when you are writing your elevator pitch, why should this time-starved person take an interest? This is actually funny. Why should this time-starved person, they have got so many opportunities, they've got so many distractions. They have to take care of their kids, they have to take care of their jobs. Why should this one person choose you? Why should this one person choose DG Business as their compliance partner? So luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. This is something that Oprah Winfrey said. Luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So you need to be prepared for every opportunity, and you could get very, very lucky. Because once the opportunity presents itself, you've already packaged yourself as a compliance person, and they'll be able to target you and say, oh, this is what I want compliance assistance with. I actually got a phone call because I've been posting and posting and posting, and I said, "Ish, when am I going to get more customers? When am I going to get more traction?" And like yesterday, I got 2 phone calls of people that are actually looking for compliance support, and they said, "I haven't been doing my new returns. The business wasn't operating." And I said, "Oh, great. Yes, let's do your returns. We file your returns, and then we request for a voluntary disclosure penalty waiver." So this is something that that Digi Business does. And I'd like to say thank you for the people that have actually engaged and paid for the service. So you need to say, okay, what is your elevator pitch, right? We need to write this down. Write your elevator pitch here. We make or we work with. So in terms of Digi Business, we work with SMEs that need compliance support, who have the problem with penalties or have the problem with registering for NEMA, for NAPSA. We solve that problem by holding the customer's hand. We hold the customer's hand up to a point where their penalties are waived, up to a point where they are able to run. And there needs to be a distinction. We are not accountants, right? But we have accounting partners. So us not being accountants means that we will help you clear your statutory obligations, or we will help you walk through the process of clearing your statutory obligations. And then once you've cleared, then you can have your internal admin or your internal accountant pick it up from there. So we are handholders up to a point when your business is able to run by itself. So this is what we provide. So they can, which means that we are there to clean up or to assist you to clean up as much as possible to a point when your business can run on its own. So capture the soul of your brand. Once you've captured the essence of your business personality, this is a clear message, right? Summarize your brand personality. You should be able to say, or someone should be able to say, oh, there's Digi Business. Digi Business does so and so. And they'll assist, they'll assist you with so and so. So this is something that you'll be able to make sure that your staff, your suppliers, your employees are able to do. It's very, very important for your brand to have a clear message. So you can also think about the colors. What colors do you want? Don't just pick a color because it's your favorite color. Pick a color that says, okay, this is a color that resonates with my customers. For instance, The Chinese love red because they associate it with good luck. So you'll be able to say, okay, is my customer base going to be mostly Chinese? So I need to change my brand to red, for instance. Is my brand professional? Like for me, I'm in the professional space. So this is why I chose blue. So the blue symbolizes professionalism. It shows that what we are doing is we are defining our brand and we are getting to understand what it is. So you need to understand and capture what it is that you are doing. So we're going to just look at a few examples, right? We're going to look at a few examples. Look at, for instance, a brand logo, right? Sorry, excuse me, I've got a bit of a flu. Look at a brand logo. Let's say the Body Shop, right? Their logo is shaped in a circular shape, meaning that they are all encompassing. You know, they define your core. You define your core, right? You define, okay, what is the message that is provided here? What is the message that you makes you creative? What is the message that makes the other brands what makes people pick out your brand as opposed to other brands, right? So it's not rocket science, right? It's about understanding what it is. What can you do? What it's built around the heart. What is the heart? And then it's a soul feeling, right? So when your brand is communicated clearly, you're able to say, okay, this is what it is. And honestly, you need to be when you sleep, you need to be able to think of your brand and say, oh, wow, this is actually what my brand is. And this is what makes my brand stand out. You need to be deliberate with your partnerships. You need to be deliberate with your suppliers. You need to be deliberate with who you employ in your company. You need to be deliberate with it all, putting things together, like, you know, in a synergy, making sure that everything is working accordingly. So the entrepreneur, as you owning the business, you have the vision and the charisma. The technical innovator is the brains behind your product. Your delivery specialist is the person who knows. So this is can be equated to marketing. This is the person who understands what your customer needs and comes and packages your product in such a way that the customer finds it attractive. And then you have your sales specialist to build the revenue base. What is it that is driving the sales of your company? And then you have your financier to keep costs under control. You have someone who's financing your business. Running a business is very, very expensive. So if you don't have somebody that is putting funds into your business is going to take longer to get off the ground. So some people are lucky enough to have support in that aspect, that they have people that have put in hundreds or millions into their businesses, and their businesses can then thrive. And then whereas others, they don't. So you need to bootstrap. You need to understand your customers. You need to push through that window. You need to push and make sure that what you're doing is making sense. Sometimes it may seem like you're not doing anything, but when you get that phone call from a client and says, "Oh, okay, I got your number from so and so. They're looking for we are looking for a company profile and a logo, or we are looking for a business plan, or we're looking for you to help us with tender documents." This is then what you can provide to them. And most of the time, it's also important to make sure that you communicate what your business is so clearly that you're not dependent on your inner circle, because most customers don't come from your inner circle. Most customers come from outside. What are the outside seeing? What are the outside perceiving your value proposition as? Do they think you're good enough to help them with a logo and a company profile? Do they think that you're good enough to help them with their voluntary disclosure with ZRA? Do they think you're good enough to help them with increasing their nominal shares so that they're compliant? So these are things that you need to understand and fully appreciate, that your customers will come from outside. Your support mostly will come from outside. So you need to understand that, okay, this is something that you need to do. You need to push so that your internal circle can then see that what you are doing is working. What you're doing is working, and then they'll support you even better. They'll support you because they'll know where to target you. They'll know where to place you. They'll know where to put you in such a position that you are able to run. right? So this is something that you need to do. You also need to decide on your business status. Are you a sole trader? Are you a limited company, or is it a partnership, right? So DigiBusiness also helps you identify which one is the best one for you. Most of the time, in the service sector, when you are the person who is the business, it's usually recommended that you are a sole trader or you are a specialist. So you find that most um, people that have a very big skill, a very skill that they've actually enhanced, is that they'll prefer to be a sole trader without much separation from the business from themselves. So this is something that you need to make sure that you understand what you are doing. Um, Choosing the business structure is something that we're going to get into in the next session, which will be next Wednesday. We're going to get into why choose to be a partner, why choose to be a business name, why choose to be a limited company. It's not as straightforward as you think or as we think. I've had to learn this. And, simple record keeping is also very important. Keeping your profits after tax and being able to identify if your business is profitable or not. So as we've mentioned, we're going in the next class or in the next session, we're going to look at limited company, your partnership, and keeping it legal. Because you can't, in Zambia, your business has to be registered for you to be compliant, for you to be a citizen that is doing your best to run a compliant business. So we're just going to go through what we spoke about today in the last few minutes. Passion is not enough. You need to define your brand. You need to make sure that what you are doing is viable. You need to make sure that your brand is a well-targeted, clear, and consistent, meaningful message. You need to be able to acknowledge what your message is. You need to be able to develop your brand. You need to be able to identify which one, which age group is your target. Is your target the Gen Z? Is your target the millennials? Or is your target, um, Gen Alpha? So you need to identify all these. You need to make sure that you understand who your customer is. You identify what your unique sales proposition is. You identify and you develop your character. You need to also work with others to make sure that your customer base is growing on a daily basis. You need to make sure you know who you are. Knowing who you are actually sets you up for success, because it will be easier for people to identify your brand and for them to know where you are going. So it's so important for you to identify who you are at your core. Ask yourself the question, who am I? What am I trying to provide? And you have to be honest with yourself. Do you have the skills that you need to deliver this as best as you can? You need to be able to say, okay, I'm very passionate about this. Maybe you may not have the skill. Hire someone or partner with someone who has the skill that you are lacking. What that does is that you do not waste time acquiring that skill, right? You do not waste time looking to go back to school to learn this skill. Focus on what you're good at and get a partner or partners who are good at what they are good at. That way you create a synergy and then you're able to grow your brand together. So this is what has been today's lesson. It's been about passion not being enough and you needing to define your brand. Once you define your brand, then your partners identify what you are good at, what you stand for, what your long-term vision is. Because once you identify what your long-term vision is, it's easier to then break it down into smaller milestones. You break it down, okay, these are the targets that I have for this period. So short term, you put a time to it. You put a time, okay, short term is by March, I should have acquired one customer, for instance. And then your medium term, you could say maybe is December. By December, as I had mentioned in the first bit of the conversation, I had said the target is to have 1,000 YouTube subscribers. And then your long term is maybe in 5 years, you see yourself with your own building, or you've partnered with all the statutory bodies in Zambia and you are being paid as a consultant and an ambassador as such. So I'd just like to say a big thank you for today's lesson or today's conversation, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Don't forget that passion is not enough. You need to define your brand. And don't forget to enroll for the Mindset Change program. DigiBusiness was born out of the Mindset Change program, and there was a business shower. So people have identified to say, okay, she's in the compliance space and she's serious about it, and she's here to support you. So don't forget to enroll for the Mindset Change program. Thank you so much, and change is possible. Thank you.